Hey folks, it's Mike from the Pen Outpost. What I have here is a nice fresh bottle of Dragon's Blood. Very wet. I don't know if that is unique to the ink or if it's just the way my pen is writing today, but came across as very wet. And I gotta shake this one because this bottle is literally brand new. So the stuff will fall out of suspension from the very top pretty quickly. See if we can get a good swab of this one. So if you haven't seen this color before, you might have guessed that by the name, which is Dragon Blood, that it was a red, which it is, but it's a deep red. It's not a bright cherry fire engine tomato red. It is a deep red, as you can see. Now, normally we're waiting for the swab to dry, but the swab is drying pretty quick, which means I didn't lay it down super thick. But like I said earlier, for whatever reason, this pen laid down a very heavy line up here at the top. It's the same pen I've been using for the last, I don't know, a couple dozen videos. So I'm not sure exactly what went on there. I might do a second one just for fun. But yeah, we're going to give that a second, I think. Yeah, I mean, those letters are still wet. So let's give that a second to let those letters dry, because that's the most important part of this whole thing, is seeing what the letters look like. I'll be back. Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, let's just set that aside. We're going to do something a little different. Let's do another writing. Since this one came out different than we expected, let's try it again. Oops, it's not Dragon's Blood, it's just Dragon Blood. See, now that right there seems more normal. But I guess that has to do with the pen. It's thinning out a little bit. One more time. So you can see that sometimes things happen that you weren't even expecting. Like if you happen to see my video on Jacques Herbon's 350th anniversary, Vers Atlantide, I had a lot of trouble with the surface tension of that ink actually working with my glass dip pen. It wasn't this pen, but it was a glass dip pen. So I actually ended up putting it into a Lamy Safari to do the writing sample. And as you can see here, it is laying down a heavier line depending on how I was holding the pen, but I haven't noticed that out of a lot of the other inks that I've been using. So let's go back to this one because it's mostly dry. And let's take a look. So you can see that heavy line. And there's some sheen in there, I think. A tiny, tiny bit. I'd have to look at that like under a microscope. I think it's there. I don't know. Okay, now I'm curious. Whoops. And I'm gonna do another swab. This one's gonna run a little long, y'all. Sorry about that. But once you start messing with these, sometimes they have qualities and characteristics that you weren't expecting, so you want to give it a little bit of extra effort. Okay. So we'll let that sit, and we're going to take another look at this, just to make sure that you got a nice close-up. I don't know if y'all can see that dark edge around those, the word Diamine and the word Shimmertastic. There seems to be a dark edge around those letters, but there's a nice gold shimmer in there. And just for fun, let's let that dry and see what becomes of it. Why not? This video is all over the place, so let's just continue down that path. I'll be back. All right, that's been drying for a while. Let's go ahead and take a look at this and beat this dead dragon. So this one, the better swab that I did darkened up fairly well, but you can still see some of that interesting lines off the nib when you compare it to the regular. I would guess that this is somewhere in the realm of Oxblood in the traditional Diamine ink line. Oxblood may be a little bit darker, but it's pretty close. And there's some nice kind of purple undertones in here. I don't know if you can see that very well on camera, but it's an interesting color. I don't know. I'll have to put it in a pen and try it out to give you a real opinion on it. I have some mixed feelings about it, to be honest with you. It's a beautiful color, but it's acting weird, so I'm gonna have to do a little investigation and testing on it. So, okay, I'm cutting in one more time. I can't seem to leave this ink alone. Let's make this long video a little bit longer. We have 3 Diamine reds here. These are the 2 traditional series reds, so they don't have shimmer in them. But if we look past the shimmer just to see the color, I was referring to Oxblood earlier, and that is it. Now this is Red Dragon, and I only brought it out strictly because of its name, just out of curiosity to see if it was even close to Dragon Blood in actual color. So you can see that it isn't, but it is a nice deep red, and we'll do a video on this one of these days when we get through the Diamine line. But that's what I was comparing it to, and it's further away than I thought it was. When you look at the depth here, it looks a lot closer. Because this swab didn't go down very heavy, but you know, like I always say, that this is the most important part. And when you compare, you know, that to that, this is a very, very fine nib that wrote that one. So I like to use a wider nib when I do these, and that's what our next one will have. But you'll get a better idea when we get around to doing Oxblood. So I just wanted to bring a little bit more attention and a little bit another level of detail to this to give you a nice comparison to see what this color looks like. Okay, back to the video. Diamine Shimmertastic Dragon Blood. Available in a 3 milliliter sample and a 50 milliliter bottle at the Pen Outpost on eBay and the penoutpost.com. Thanks for watching.